renters are willing to pay a premium for additional parking space.
100%.
All
Definitely.
right.
I know people that rent those spots out to
To the neighborhood.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Parking is huge.
And that's just a space. That's not saying garage.
Yeah. It's like,
Okay.
here's a spot.
Yes. What concerns most people is the HOA.
Yeah.
So you're paying for what you get, and when you pay a little bit more, but you're getting a more stable product.
That's what you
right?
get.
In this episode of the Garden State Take, my colleague Kevin Collymore and I are going to dive into the best rental locations in New Jersey. So if you are someone that is either in one or two categories and not necessarily exclusive to these two categories, but if you are one, you're an investor and you're exploring some options as to where you want to invest, where you want to buy a market that's going to give you the solid returns that make sense for your money. You want to take a look at this. And if you are that buyer that's saying, I'm not quite at a place of investing in property yet, but I want to live somewhere where I can hold that property once I decide to move on and rent that out rather than sell it. So this is something that you'll want to tune into for this. Kevin is absolutely the guy to be in on this kind of episode. So I'm looking to get some insights from him as well. All right. So let's dive into this now. Welcome to New Jersey Living, the podcast, where we explore all things New Jersey real estate. I'm your host, Corey Jones, a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker and team leader of the New Jersey Living Group. We're a team of experienced agents who specialize in residential sales in several counties ranging from Bergen County in northern New Jersey to Ocean County down the shore. On this podcast, we will talk to real estate experts, local business owners, community leaders, and town officials to get the inside scoop various towns in New Jersey. We'll discuss everything from the latest market trends to featured local attractions with dining, recreation, and entertainment. Whether you're a current resident, a prospective buyer, or just curious about New Jersey real estate, we have something for you. So sit back, relax, and join us for a conversation about all things New Jersey living. Welcome to New Jersey Living, the podcast. We are back in our Garden State Garden State Take episode. This is episode 2 of Garden State Take. Yes, Garden State Take is going to be Kevin and I coming in together to really dive into some topics. Some of them are going to be real estate, but not all of them. Still in real estate again today. So just for you all who are new in terms of viewing, my name is Corey Jones. I am team leader of the New Jersey Living Group, host of New Jersey Living, the podcast, licensed realtor here in New Jersey with Coldwell Banker. My colleague, Kevin, I'm going to just pass it over to him so he can do his little intro.
Appreciate that, Corey. Kevin Collymore. I'm with Keller Williams. I'm the team lead of the Colleymore Group, licensed real estate agent for 5 years plus. And, thank you for having me again here, Corey. This has been fun, man. And, like I said, let's keep it going. Absolutely. So we'll be diving into these tandem partnerships at least once a month. We may even have to include more, man, just to cover the ground that we want to cover. But at least once a month, we're going to come together for these Garden State Take episodes. So be sure to click like, subscribe, notification bell to stay tuned. If you are watching on YouTube or if you are listening on any of the podcast platforms, please do like, subscribe, drop in some comments. And I think for episodes like this, I think there are going to be plenty of comments that are out there, plenty of thoughts that are out there, and we welcome them. So if you have some locations that you have in mind, some experiences that you have in mind, some questions that you have, or if you're just in the market and you need some assistance, you can reach out to us through these platforms as well. You'll find us pretty much sending this out on all platforms, IG, everything. All
TikTok,
social.
right? All social.
Look at
it will be out there. No doubt about it. All right. So let's go ahead and dive in right now. So Kevin, I'm going to first have Kevin just talk a little bit about his investment background, because Kevin has really a ton of expertise in that area. And then we're going to shift to what criteria we use. Each of us has a top 5, and it's not the same order or the same locations. We had different rationales, but that's part of the fun of this. We're going to throw out, 5 through 1, ranking number 1, to see what we have in common. But Kevin, go ahead and just dive a little bit into your background in investment so that our viewing and listening audience has an idea.
Yeah, definitely. So, I am a full-time real estate agent, but I love investing in real estate for my clients as well as myself. So, I've completed a few, rehabs. So, I do kind of utilize a burst strategy, But the flip and the fix and flip I do a lot of. I'm also doing some ground up overseas in the Dominican Republic. So that's gonna be vacation rental. So it kind of fits into this category. And I'll talk a little bit about how I decided to leave the States to go overseas, where they don't, I don't even speak Spanish, but to invest my money there. But so I do everything from the fix and flips to the buy and holds, the ground ups, as well as the vacation rentals. And I want to do a little bit more with the syndications and some bigger projects in the future. But so I'm not only an agent, but I'm in this world. So when I look at markets and we're looking at places to invest, whether it's short term or long term, I look at all the metrics from the eyes of personally doing it myself and my investors as well.
Absolutely. And that really speaks to what we're going to be talking about as it pertains to where you buy and why. Mm-hmm. All right. Because location absolutely does matter. So on that note, criteria. So I'm going to give the criteria. We both really use very similar criteria. Mm-hmm. Kevin is going to get a little bit more even detailed in his. I have 3 criteria that I primarily based it on. One of them being rental demand. There are certain markets that we know there just is consistent demand for rentals.
True.
All right.
Yep.
There are a lot of markets that have high demand for housing for sales, and it's not always apples to apples, right?
True. 100%. Yep.
So we have very, very high demand communities, and y'all have seen some of my episodes on these if you watch me on YouTube, and Montclair is an example of that. Kevin's office is in Montclair. Mm-hmm. This is a very high demand location because it is great in terms of proximity to the city, it's great in terms of commutability, it's great in terms of schools. So all these factors combined, and there's more than that to Montclair. A lot of just the social scene, the entertainment, the dining, all of that is just exceptional. So it creates a certain demand, but when we're talking rental, you're going to notice that neither one of us has Montclair in our top 5 for rental locations because rental is not, again, it's not apples to apples, all right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to really dive into some of these criteria a little further, rental being one, rental demand being one, location, obviously, everything in real estate is location, and market price. So what is the price point that you are going to pay? Because as an investor, and I'm speaking to someone who definitely operates in this space, you are thinking about your return on investment. You're thinking about your initial investment. Yes. You're thinking about what you're going to have to pour in terms of any type of renovation or maintenance, because all of that impacts your ROI, ROI being return on investment. So these are the 3 that I pointed out: rental demand, location, market price. Kev, I'm going to have you dive into yours.
So my 3, there's some overlap, but I would say the occupancy rate. So I want to know if it's going to be 75% occupied throughout the year, 50% occupied throughout the year. Sometimes it works, right? Because then, for the shore areas, that seasonality there, you're going to be demanding a way higher price, even if a person did have a rental at 100% occupancy, but it's a lower price. You know what I mean? So I look at the occupancy rates. I look at the pretty much a rental amount as well too. So what can I rent it per day? If there's going to be appreciation there, what can we do to up this, right? And then I also look at the competition. I would say, what's in the area and the proximity that's going to basically, make my vacancy rates go down. My rental rates go down. So I want to make sure that, all right, I find a place that has a high demand so I can keep this number as steady as I possibly can. And I would say those are the 3 top that, I look at. And of course, purchase price and things like that are a big factor too. But yes, those 3 I think are mine.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. So we're going to go 5, starting at number 5 and work our way up to number 1. And just note that there are certain locations that we have that are cities, are larger cities, that we're really identifying neighborhood specific because there are some hotter neighborhoods than others when we're looking at specific locations, and we'll pour out that rationale. So, Kev, I'm going to shift it to you as guest here. Start with your number 5. We'll jump over to my number 5 and keep working our way from there.
All right, perfect. So for my number 5 is I'm going to say Atlantic City, right? Some may agree, some may disagree. I like Atlantic City because when I look at areas that the rental properties make sense, this has it checks some of those boxes, right? Being, one of the last cities that are on the beach, right? I do know that there's a big push there for infrastructure, some revitalization. There is, there's a lot of people that want to see Atlantic City do better. So right now it's not perfect, but I think for investors trying to get into a market with some with a lot of potential upside, Atlantic City could work. Because you do have that tourist type of,
Yes.
it's a tourist destination, so you do have that high summer, the seasonality built into there too. But I'm going to say my number 5 is AC.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, so Corey, like for example, there was a recent sale about a month ago, and it was on Winchester Ave. I'm looking at it right now, 3411 Winchester Ave. That was a 6-bedroom. That was a multifamily, so it was a 2-family, and it had a total of 6 bedrooms, 3 bath. Purchase price was $292. I don't think I've seen that price point in any.
For a multifamily.
Yeah, that's great. But it's a light rehab. When I put my investor eyes on, like this is light work. Some the bathroom, kitchens, things like that. But for less than $300,000 purchase price for the 3 bedrooms on each unit, you can probably make anywhere from, because in AC you normally have like the lowest I've seen was $70 up until maybe $190, right? Depending on the day and the month. So there's money to be made there, all right? One unit can bring you in at like $18,000 a year at 50% vacancy. And that's just one unit, so you can live in one, rent the other one out. There's opportunity here for sure. So, and that's how it is now in AC.
Right.
So I believe that there's going to be more appreciation when more developments happen and you get bigger demand. Like that number is going to only increase with the demand.
And the price point creates a degree of safety there.
Yeah, definitely.
It's different if you had to pour in 400.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. This would be a great area for newer investors looking to get in, as well, for something more of a long-term hold. The entry level is huge.
Yes.
Right here. This is great.
Absolutely. All right, so Kevin's number 5 is Atlantic City. Let's dive into my number 5 now.
What you got?
All right, so we're off to my number 5, working our way up from 5 to number 1. And at number 5, I am going with Plainfield.
Okay.
All right, Plainfield well. And here is the criteria that we're already considering. We're considering rental demand. We're considering price point. We're considering location. Plainfield consistently is a high demand rental market by and large because it is price friendly for what's essentially a suburban county with Union County. All right, so Union County, the county seat is Elizabeth. Elizabeth is more urban, but once you get outside of Elizabeth, you get Union, Springfield, Westfield, Cranford, Scotch Plains, Fanwood, right? So you get a lot of that real comfortable suburb.
Yeah, true.
Plainfield is really kind of a blend. It's not nearly as large as Elizabeth. It has a downtown section that is more urban, but it has a lot of quiet neighborhood, just like a Fanwood and Scotch Plains and other areas, right?
I agree.
So this price dynamic is such that what you buy in Plainfield is easily 10%, and I'm being conservative, 10% less than the same property in the neighboring town of Scotch Plains, easily. Right. So what you, from an investment standpoint, know, and even from a rental standpoint, is that you're going to get some better prices for your money, better bang for your buck, if you will. You're going to get a little bit more square footage. You'll even get a little bit better finishes for what you do if you're paying premium dollar. So the property that I'm going to throw up here, just as an example, this is 802 Second Place. So Second Place is not to be confused with Second Street, because Second Street does traverse from east to west through Plainfield. A section of that is really downtown. Second Place, totally different. Second Place is in the heart of like the historic Crescent area of Plainfield. This area, for an extended period of time, a lot of Victorian homes that are just massive. Like you go back 100 years, this section of Plainfield was called Millionaire's Row. Yeah. Right? Because your money was there, right? So Plainfield was what Westville is now if you go back 100, 125 years, all right? So a lot of money existed there. A lot of these homes are large. They're Victorian. They're historic. A lot of them over the past probably 3 decades have been really distressed, but over the past decade, you've seen slow and steady revitalization.
True.
All right. So this is a property, as we flash up some photos on this one, you can see it has been totally renovated. It is a 3-family. All right. So we're talking, and that's significance because you were talking now about 3 income generating units versus 1.
Nice.
So if you're talking in an area where there is upturn, property that is newly renovated, 3 different units, all going to be brand new. This one was priced initially at $825. They had a price drop to $801. Why 01? I don't know, but I would have did $799 rather than $801, but that's neither here nor there. But it sold just, let me put my glasses on, make sure I can see this right. Yes, just under 800, 795. Sold at 795. All right. So this is a case in point, where, Kevin, we're thinking about some of our other markets.
Yeah.
3-family, newly renovated.
That's a great price.
Right? So
that's crazy.
Under 800. See, this is what I mean by rental market. Someone who has this is classic buy and hold. You will not have to search or wait for rentals. Because you mentioned something very important, right? That vacancy rate.
Yes.
Vacancy rate is something that is not your friend, when you're investing in property for rental. And this is Plainfield in general is one of those locations where rental property is going to, for the most part, stay occupied. So this is one reason why, another reason I should say, why I'm putting Plainfield at my number 5. So we're going to drop back over to Kevin for his number 4, and let's see where we land there.
All right. So if you look at a property, it's a 2-family, recently sold. It was listed at $699.
Okay.
It sold at $732. I mean, that's
not
conservative.
bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
I'm used to seeing hundreds.
Yes.
Over something, but 12 days on the market, sold for $732, and this was a month ago, June 14th. All right. So this is a 3-bedroom, 1 bath each. When I look at the rates, right? I mean, this thing is going to be able to rent for at least $2,800 a month. I mean, I'm looking at 3-bedroom range in that city. They go up to $8,500 in Montclair. So this one is not. It's not going to be. It's not completely renovated. It's the square foot is not as big as that top of the market one, right? But I mean, you could safely say that you're going to be bringing in revenue on this property over $6,500, $7,000 a month, and there's something that's going to appreciate over time because the demand for that city is it's steady, and they're only improving things with the there's a lot of, like I said, the downtown area, the art district. There's like a lot of I mean, the art scene. There's a lot that's going on there. So it appeals to a lot of families and a lot of professionals that want to come into the area, and that's why I have them on my list. Not something that you're gonna go ahead and just make tons of money on instantly, but it's more of like a long term. And the people, the investors that do buy, it's like we don't only look at it from an income standpoint; it's also a depreciation standpoint.
Indeed.
How can we offset our taxes and things like that? So this could be a good play depending on the investor coming into the market.
Good point, because then I did a mixed use episode. And with mixed use, I was looking at Hudson County specifically, and there are tons of mixed use that has high income potential in Union City, particularly along Bergen Line Road, which is like all of your bodegas and your barbershops, your hair salon, your clothing store, like all this is there with apartments that are above it. So that was one type of investment opportunity, but then you have a Hoboken. All right. So you get into Hoboken, you're looking at a totally different kind of price point, but you're also looking longevity wise, different type of clientele, different type of businesses, different type of renters, different type of rental scale. So your proceed may not be, as robust off the bat, but your long-term stability, that's what we're talking about, those cap rates.
Super important. Yeah. The appreciation in the property, your tenants, paying down or bringing up your equity by paying down the mortgage.
Right.
And, that tax break is huge
for
investors.
Significant. Significant. All right, so that's number 4. That was a little bit of a shocker.
Yeah,
that Kevin went Montclair on me. That's all right. So we're going to take a look. We're going to dive now into my number 4. And this is where we're starting to get into locations where we have to specify neighborhood a little bit. So let's take a dive now.
Okay.
All right, so my number 4, right next door to you. All right, right next door to Montclair, pretty much, is Newark. Ooh, all right.
I love that town.
So Newark, I want to call that one of the investors' delight locations, okay, in New Jersey. All right. So I'm going to actually pull up 2 that Newark. There's specific neighborhoods that I would target, and one of them being Ironbound, the other Forest Hill, University Heights, and Upper Vailsburg. Rationale being, of course, location meaning a lot. Your Ironbound area is directly by Penn Station Newark.
Yep.
All right. So you have a heavy scene of restaurants, again, bodegas, like any kind of local type of retail space is going to be right in that area. Sure. All right. You're going to find consistent rental demand. So one of the properties is going to be there. Forest Hill is really historically the premier neighborhood of Newark. All right. So that one I always get Branch Brook and Brookdale. I always want to call one or the other. So Brookdale is up in Bloomfield. All right. Branch Brook is Newark. Park is, if you haven't seen my episode on that section of Newark, take a look, all right? Because I filmed it right when the cherry blossoms were coming in.
I knew it. Yep.
All right, so it was probably late March, early April. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So this property that one of the two properties I'm going to feature in this little segment is in that neighborhood. University Heights, we have NJIT, we have Rutgers, and we have the hospital. Yes. Right? Rutgers Research Hospital. All of that in one little area right there downtown. No shortage of rental demand because of both, hospital staff, university staff, students. And then we have Upper Vailsburg, which borders right on South Orange by Seton Hall. And as a parent of a Seton Hall student, we just dealt with looking for an apartment for my son to get him into something. So I know and appreciate that, and had a recent sale there. That's very nice, very nice, quiet neighborhoods back in that section. All right, so the two that I'm looking at, just put my specs on here to get the details right. I'm going to start with Forest Hill, 77 Heller. And this is a 3-family, absolutely gorgeous home. Location, oh my gosh, you have to, again, watch the episode, but if you are walking these neighborhoods, you have these huge, just massive colonials in many cases. Some of them Victorian, not all of them. Some of them more Georgian. But it's a beautiful, quiet neighborhood, and when you walk down to the park scene, it is just absolutely gorgeous.
Crazy nice.
Even if the cherry blossoms are not in bloom, it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous neighborhood. This one was listed at $715. It was on the market for 28 days, so just less than a month, and it sold at $772. All right, so 3 units, 2-bedroom. 2 of them were 2-bedroom, 1 bath. 1 of them 1 bedroom, 1 bath.
That's a good price.
Here's the kicker, though: detached 3-car garage.
Oh, that's a good price then.
Very.
For that, that's great.
No, and to have parking as a non-issue, right? So that it looks based on the photos, and you're seeing some of these photos as we sit here and have this conversation. The photos reflect that it was really like a very large driveway that led to probably the back or side yard to the garage. So more parking than just 3-car by all means. Because you got to think too, and Kev, you can speak to this. Renters are willing to pay a premium for additional parking space.
100%.
All
Definitely.
Right? So if they have a rental and they say, hey, look, for another $150, we can get you provide you with a parking space.
I know people that rent those spots out to
the neighborhood.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely,
parking is huge,
and that's just a space. That's not saying garage.
Yeah. It's okay. Like here's a spot.
Yes. So garage, maybe even ask $200 for that. All right. So that was one for 77 Heller. The other property, we're going to go back to the Heights. Next property in Newark is in Ironbound. And this is, again, high demand area. This is on 243 Adams. Original list price was $629. Had a price drop, and that price dropped to $599. And the eventual sale price was $580. This is a property, 5-bedroom altogether. One unit was 3-bedroom, the other was 2-bedroom. But check this, Kevin. 1-bedroom unit, Kev, had a rent roll, $3,700.
Wow. That's great.
$3,700 for the 3-bedroom. The 2-bedroom, $2,100. All right. And these both had, at the time they listed, so what we don't know is if these leases continue, because at the time this listed back in February, although it closed just at the end of July. It listed in February. And at that point, both leases were set to expire at the end of March. So maybe they went to month, but you know as well as I do, in some cases, an investor may take something on and be totally open to extending that lease if the price is right.
You said $3,700.
$3,700.
And that was for one unit.
That was for one unit.
And how many units does it have?
One unit, 2 units.
So
two units. So we're talking 5,800, just short of 6,000 was the entire building. And this, as we're going to flash photos like we normally do.
That's great.
It has renovated in 2019, no doubt. This is just the exterior. You see the exterior is definitely a bit more polished. When we look at the interior photos, looks clean, maintained, but nothing updated. Okay, so this was a very much.
So that's huge. Because,
ideal.
Like, it's not renovated, so that means that there's room for upside.
There's room for upside.
And they got it for under 600.
Correct.
Right. So
correct.
Even if they just went with the current rent roll, right, 3,700, that's like what, a little under 7,000.
Yes.
No, so it's a little over 7,000. I can do math right now.
But, what? I'm sorry. Just under 6 right now.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's also, and another couple $100 that you add to that. So they'd probably be around 7,000 once it's done.
Right, yes.
With
correct.
a mortgage so they're gonna be having their mortgage paid down and have a surplus without even doing anything.
Here's what I like too, Kev. I just looked up when I looked the map up. This is on Adams Street. Adams is right there bordering Independence Park, right? So on the kind of that eastern edge of Ironbound. One-way street. So you got a one-way street and you have the park across the street. Right?
That's a good one. And that's why Newark, I hate that as your number 4. It's my number 1. We'll get to that later on. But
we're gonna get into where these rankings fall. And again, we want you all dropping some comments.
I'm happy you made your list,
yes,
this is good.
Yes.
All right.
So
I give you that
now
one.
we've done 5 and we've done 4. Let's get to number 3. Kev, let's get back to you for number 3.
All right, so Jersey City, right? Take a look at this property, 4 Beacon Way. All right, recently sold. This is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and as you know, the Beacon building, it's in proximity to downtown. Really almost everything. Yeah. And this building, I love this building because it's like, even just going into it, with it's almost like going to a nice hotel. You have the amenities for everything, nice gym. Like, they love their dogs there too, so you have your own separate, dog walking area.
Yes.
It offers everything, right? And then for $380 purchase price, what was the square footage on this one?
That was 800 and change. I want to say 863.
Oh, so okay. So there was one that recently sold in the same building for $530, and it was about 1,000, a little under 1,100 square feet.
Okay.
So this would be a really good buy.
Yes.
And in terms of long term, like, this is it, because the vacancy rates in this building is very low. It has a high demand, and that area, like Jersey City, Hoboken, that whole entire area over there, it's just like people it's one of those areas where you want to be in, depending on who you are, but it's always, this will be something that you can rent out. So I'm going to say I like the Beacon building, and that's why Jersey City is on my list.
I like the building as well and the location, because as you mentioned, it's almost like an extension of downtown, because literally it's down the hill by about maybe 4 blocks before you're in the downtown section. And tucked right there in between Journal Square, McKinley Square is like right there. I don't even know what to call it sometimes, because it's not really Journal Square per se, but it's closer to McKinley. Great location. I know with what concerns most people is the HOA.
Yeah.
Because the HOAs tend to be very high. This one is 775, but they're commonly 600 plus, but it's what you're getting with it.
Yeah.
Because you're getting an enclosed community, essentially.
You really are.
Right? Pool, library, fitness. You have shuttle to Grove Street Station for a path.
100%. Right? Even the people that you bump into.
Yeah.
These are like professionals, and so the building offers a lot, and the draw of the people that go in there, you can't go wrong with it.
You get to feel like you're going into one of these, like the Plaza Hotel in New York, right?
Yes,
when you enter,
I'm like, I feel like I got a valet over here, right?
Yes,
it's nice.
You have that feel. So you're paying for what you get, and going back to the point of cap rate, it's like when you pay a little bit more, but you're getting a more stable product.
That's what you
get.
Mm-hmm.
This is the case for the Beacon, no doubt. So definitely like that one. I give that one a thumbs up for sure.
Okay.
All right.
Check it out.
So let's hop over to my number 3, and this is where I start to salivate a little bit, because this is something that I'm
the higher we go, the better it gets.
Pursuing myself. Right. So let's dive into this now. All right. So my number 3, we are going down to Neptune, Ocean Grove, specifically. Your neck of the woods, right? Go ahead and give a little insight, man. You gave me some family
absolutely.
detail there.
That's funny because my number 2, I'm not going to get into it now, is Asbury Park. And Neptune is right next to Asbury Park. I grew up, I lived in Asbury Park for 15 years.
Right.
And then, my parents, they moved to Neptune. So I grew up in that area. I went to the schools there and everything, but that definitely gets a thumbs up.
I just came, and this is something Kevin and I talked offline, even before recording. So my wife and I were celebrating our 27th year anniversary just a week ago. And we decided we're going to go down. Weather wasn't great last week, so we said, no, we're not going to do a beach night then. So we did a beach night, Ocean Grove, stayed over Monday night into Tuesday, and we are in the market right now of hunting for some investment property, really more for our daughter.
Yep.
So that we can find a multifamily, she can stay there, live in one unit, rent the other units out. And this is where it comes to when we're talking about, seasonality, right?
Yeah.
When we're talking about, your vacancy rates and things like this. This is very much a seasonal kind of buy. We'll jump into those details in just a minute because I'm going to point the property out first. This is 94 Mount Zion Way in Ocean Grove. So Ocean Grove is, in fact, a part of Neptune. All right, so it's not its own municipality. You go down there, you'll see Neptune police cruise through, and your trash pickup is going to be Neptune. It's goes by Ocean Grove, but it's part of Neptune. So this is 94 Mount Zion Way in the Ocean Grove section. This is a high demand section, especially once we are around Memorial Day all the way through Labor Day. All right, probably even a little bit before that. Yep. Okay, so you probably can get 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after each of those two respective holidays. You're going to get premium weekly rentals in that time frame. So let's take a look at some of these photos here. This is
premium.
Property that I would consider turnkey. When you scroll through here, you don't see a ton of super recent upgrades, but the level of maintenance and some upgrade that has been done over time is really reflective here. There is also, which is a real bonus, there's a separate outside dwelling. And you see this commonly in Ocean Grove. Some of them have, lot sizes are really tight, right? You're not getting much yard space in Ocean Grove. You know this from being in that area, right?
Yep, you're right.
So one here and there may have some yard space. And what I learned from my visit this past weekend, it tends to be as you get closer to the water, you get to have a little bit more yard space for your front yard because the properties are intentionally set back a little further to allow properties further away from the waterfront to look down the street and be able to see the ocean. Didn't realize that. But you'll often see that they're very tight, very close, tightly packed, maybe just a little alley walkway between properties, and the backyard may not be a backyard. It could be another small dwelling, a little tiny bungalow almost, right? But from a rental and an investment standpoint,
salivating over
significant, right? So you can't go wrong because when you're talking about summer rental, let's talk summer rental and what that looks like for an Ocean Grove. If you have a studio, you have a studio space that has a bed, has a bathroom, has a mini kitchen, and we're not talking about something that's run down, but something that's nicely done, right? Maybe it's newly renovated or it's been recently updated. You're not going to find anything like that for summer prime rental under $1,500 for the week. You're not going to find it.
No way.
All right. So you're going to be $1,500 and up for a weekly, and that's for a studio. Just again, bed, bath, mini kitchen. Once we're talking about 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or even 3 bedroom, you're easily into your 2,000s up towards 3,000, and that's weekly. So we're talking about probably when you add up all the weeks, we're probably talking about 14 weeks roughly of prime season of earning, depending on how many new units you have. And this one, there are 3 units, which I love about this particular property. That's 3 units. Okay. So this one is just example, case study A as to why I put Ocean Grove as my number 3 and why I'm in the hunt there right now. All right.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. All right. So
let's skip over to you we're getting close to number 1 now, people.
Yeah.
Let's get over to Kev for the number 2.
All right. So Asbury Park, the property I'm going to pick, it's 516 Asbury Ave, listed at $995, sold 10,000 under, but it says cash conventional, so maybe they got some with heavy finance. Heavy down payment.
Right.
But so $985 sell price, and it's a 3 unit. Looks like it's 3 bedrooms in one, 2 in the other, and then there's going to be a studio style. I mean, this one makes sense, right? It's really close proximity to the beach. I mean, I personally love the restaurants in Asbury Park. You know, you were just there a week ago. I'm pretty sure you and your wife had some really good dinners. I mean, they revitalized that whole entire area, the downtown area.
Yes.
I mean, it's all you need is a scooter, and then you can just go everywhere now.
Everywhere.
It's great. But I mean, you know, from a long-term rental, the numbers make sense. And then, you know, even like, for example, the Airbnb, you can make like $200 a day on the 1 or the 2 bedroom. You know, I mean, it'll be more money, but you know, on your daily rate, like this thing makes money. You know,
Absolutely.
I like it. And that's like, you know, a little under $1 million, and this property is not renovated yet. It looks like they took care of it. There's some things here and there, but you know, some potential there. I'm not too sure how the lot is, but I mean, it offers everything that a person coming to town, you know, needs: proximity to everything.
Everything. Just blocks from that main restaurant scene. Cookman is like that ideal hotspot, and it's just what, three blocks away.
Exactly. Yeah. So this one makes my list. I mean, Asbury Park, you know, I grew up there. It holds a special place in my heart, and I'm so happy to see what's happened there. And it's just kind of spreading back, you know, from the beachfront all the way on, you know, past the track. So
yes,
you know, Asbury Park is one to keep an eye on, because they're not done yet. They're still working, and you know, it's going to be appreciating even more.
And there's no question, you have $1 million condos right there.
Crazy.
It is, isn't it?
I saw that building over there being built for like 10 years, 15 years. I forget the years, but it was just a shell forever.
Right.
And now they're selling for $1 million.
Yes, $1 million.
You have rooftop restaurants,
indeed,
like amenities at the wazoo. It's crazy. So, you know, Asbury Park is definitely to the top of my list.
Okay, sounds great. Sounds great. All right, so now to my number 2, and now we start to see a lot of our overlap here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going back we're going back to Jersey City, and it's going to be specific for me, West Bergen.
Okay.
And the reason why West Bergen, many of people who've been watching my past YouTube episodes know that the west side of Jersey City has the Bayfront project that is coming. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of time. They've been clearing land. They've been getting things prepared just huge in terms of what that foundation needs to be to build. But I don't know right offhand what the exact completion date expect. Mm-hmm. I'm expecting it's probably going to be a 5 to 7 year project.
Yeah,
that's just
sure.
What I'm thinking right now. But this is the largest development on the East Coast once it's going to be all said and done for years. Okay.
Absolutely.
So this is going to, what Newport is to the east side of Jersey City is what Bayfront is going to be on the west side. Mm-hmm. So we're talking extension of the light rail from the west side station all the way to the waterfront. We're talking about ferry service that will circle down and around the tip of Bayonne, getting to Manhattan. I'm going to even flash up some of the renderings here because I do have renderings on file of what that project is going to look like. West Bergen, which that's more the MLS name. I mean, Jersey City, if you're in Jersey City, historically they don't call it West Bergen, they just call it West Side. Mm-hmm. But this area is going to see substantial turnaround and uptick in terms of value. Okay. So if you are buying now, and I encourage my clients that are looking at multifamily in Jersey City to consider that area. There's still bargains to be had in that area.
Get in now.
So yes, absolutely. So the property I'm going to take a look at is 13 Crossgate, and that is closer towards the Bayonne border of West Bergen when we get towards that southern end, but that's the same area where the bulk of all the development is going to happen.
Yes.
All right. So if you're familiar with Society Hill, which is a condo townhouse development in the West Bergen section, been there for probably 20, 25 years. The Bayfront project is happening right beside that. All right. And this area, if you have the ability to obtain property, multifamily property, it is going to be prime because you're going to be in the direct neighborhood of just like the hottest development on the East Coast. Definitely. So this one is 13 Cross Gate Road. It is 3-family. And let me make sure it's a legal 2. It's a legal 2, but it has a lower level that does have a kitchen. All right. So some people may use that as in-laws suite kind of deal, and others finagle and do what they do. All right. But so this one has 3 kitchens, lower level, which normally means ground level behind the garage. So there's 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and a kitchen there. The main level is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and it has the same floor plan for the second level, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Okay. As we flip through pictures here, you can see that this is a very well-maintained property. Is it premium upgrade? No, but it is turnkey move-in ready. And here's the kicker. It does come with parking. All right. So that's parking good. Is a premium
in Jersey City.
In Jersey City, no doubt about it. All right. So this one, the list price was $599. It sold at $657, 6 days on market. Wow. 6 days. Right?
So in a week.
Yes. So someone saw value and said, I am not going to wait. I am going to move on this right now. That area is a quieter area of Jersey City in general, but it's densely packed. Homes are really close proximity one to the other, and there's not a lot of parking. So having that 1 parking space is very valuable. But with the proximity of what you're going to be near, again, going back to my renderings and having a basically a waterfront, park, walkway. There's not going to be just residential locations. There's going to be retail as well. Mm-hmm. So there'll be shops, there'll be restaurants, there'll be just leisure, social dining, all of that right there on the waterfront in your neighborhood. All right. When we project this 8 to 10 years down the road. So absolutely valuable. Jersey City, Bergen, West Bergen specifically comes in at my number 2. So let's go. All right, we're down to number 1.
All right.
So let's give it back over to Kevin.
So the property I picked, right? It was very hard for me because there's hundreds of sales for Newark, right, on the Maltese.
Definitely.
It was this one I thought was interesting. 32-34 St. Francis Street. That's an Ironbound. Guess what this sold for, Corey? What do you think?
Any parking?
Yeah, off-street parking.
Off-street parking.
Not that much, like 1 spot.
Bedrooms, how many?
So a 3-bedroom. So it has 2 3-bedroom. It's a 3-family. 2 of them are 3 bedrooms, and 1 is 2 bedrooms.
I did Newark. And this is, I'm sorry, Ironbound or University?
Ironbound.
Ooh.
So it's a nice price.
Ooh.
I wouldn't even let you, because I was surprised.
I'd say 8.
So this one sold for 1.1.
1.1 Ironbound.
Yes, wow. Right. And then I looked at this property and I'm like, trying to figure it out, but it goes to show you because years ago you couldn't even give properties away sometimes in Newark.
Yes.
So reputation has completely changed and it still is changing, but this property was listed at $1,050,000, sold for 1.1, and it's like I said, it's the 3-bedroom in each unit and it has 2 baths. So I think because of square footage and the location, that's why. And it's not even updated. This thing, it's looks like they probably did some work a couple years ago, but it's not fully renovated. So that just goes to show you what's happening in the city.
Yes,
because and this was just a sale from looks like close date was June 14th. So just 2 months ago. If you put this on the market today, this thing will probably sell for more than 1.1. The appreciation in this town is just nuts, and I think ownership is great. When you're trying to do something like this, because what I see them building a lot of is a lot of rentals.
Right.
So ownership like this, you're going to be able to take part in living in a property as well as renting it out for a good amount of money. It's just so much upside to Newark. It's nuts. So that's my number 1.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get down to my number 1, and then we're going to flash up our top 5 side by side.
Yeah,
and
so what you
want to get your feedback. Let's get some comments here, and you can even be a renter. Just saying what places you have targeted yourself, lived in yourself, favor yourself, looking to get a dialogue, an open dialogue going here. All right, so my number 1, and again, I'm factoring in location, I'm factoring in rental demand, I'm factoring in price, and it is Perth Amboy.
Okay.
All right, Perth Amboy is high demand to the point where you don't have to concern yourself really at all with, will I have viable renters? Yes, you will. Okay, the answer is absolutely yes. It's just a matter of what type of rent roll are you looking for and what location are you going to purchase in and what type of upgrades you may want to invest in to get the rent roll that you want, because one has everything to do with the other, right?
Yeah, true.
Because if you're saying to yourself you don't want to invest and you don't want to upgrade and do some things with rent, well, that's going to impact the rent roll that you have and the tenant quality, if you will, that you have. Okay, so have an investor who bought a place just around the corner from this property right here. The property that I'm selecting is 73 Commerce Street, is directly by High Street. It's like in that real premium area of Perth Amboy, not far from the marina and not far from State Street, on areas where in High and Broad where you have a lot of restaurants and businesses and things like that, right?
Yeah.
This one listed and sold at $585, and it was one of those deals, Kev, where
that's a good deal.
0 days on market.
Jesus.
So somebody
Cash?
knew coming soon. I'm gonna see if it was cash or not, but
Nuts.
somebody knew. This was cash. It was a cash deal.
Yeah, 0 days on market. That's great. Goes to show
So
you.
they knew. They knew whether it be coming soon or just by, how we do put feelers out or heads up out.
Yeah, definitely.
What we have coming, somebody saw immediate value and jumped on it immediately.
You're waiting for
right?
it.
So this is, I'm looking at, oddly enough, it shows 100%, which I thought definitely cash. It says terms conventional. 100% conventional. There's a few programs out there, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. But still, it's good. And that price is nice. How's the condition over there?
So when I look through the photos, going to flash these up. There's nothing flashy.
Okay.
It looks like it still could use upgrade. If I'm doing this, I am doing some upgrades in terms of just flooring,
to maximize
paint.
that rental
Absolutely,
amount.
I want to maximize my rental. Because what I can say right offhand, these are not showing rent roll for all three. It just shows that these were probably month-to-month leases that were some time back. They show a 1,300. They show a 1,700. But here's a case in point.
Forever in there.
The property that my client just bought on High Street, 3-family, all 3 units have 3 bedrooms, right?
Nice.
So there's 9 bedrooms in total. One and only one of the 3 units had a recent upgrade, recent renovation, and not even high end, but just an upgrade. Invested roughly about $30,000 to $35,000. My client about $35,000 into the other 2 units that had not been renovated.
Okay.
All right. Top unit right off the bat. I want to say that came in $2,500. All right. That's 3rd floor, no elevator either. Right.
Yeah,
3rd floor up, and the other 2 are going to pretty much be in that same range, anywhere from about $2,200 to $2,500.
That's good money.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's going to clear close to $7,000 monthly once all rented out. The other 2 units just literally finished up over the weekend, and they're about to rent out now. All right, so there's not a waiting game. There's not how can I find? There's even programs within Perth Amboy that provide support with security deposit and first month's rent.
Yeah.
Right?
True. Yep.
So there are, and so that's something to ask you. Feel free to dial me up if you want to get more information on that. But there are organizations that do support that for people who are looking to get into a property. So Perth Amboy, and because of the listings I've had there in the past, I know the investor response whenever you have a listing in Perth Amboy. You immediately get investor responses, and I want to say of maybe the first 5 calls I received, just thinking back to that listing, 3 of them were investors that had multiple properties already in Perth Amboy looking for more.
Always, yep.
All right? Because they know that it is a bargain market in terms of where you buy in at, and that the rent is consistent. It is reliable, right?
That's great.
So that's what my pitch is for Perth Amboy. We are right up on time. I'm going to quit a quick flash. You're going to see Kevin's top 5. You see my top 5 right here. I want to thank everybody for joining in. Again, click like, subscribe, notification bell. We're going to flash up Kevin's contact info right here.
There you go.
All right. So you get him on IG. All right. So we got all his info here.
Absolutely.
My contact information is right here in the details. Feel free to reach out, book me on Calendly, call direct, shoot me an email, doesn't matter. I want to make sure I flash up here as well. I do have my first-time buyer or my home buyer's guide. You don't have to be a first-time buyer, but I have a buyer's guide right up here. And I also have a relocation guide. So if you have any insights that you would like to get from any of those prospects, feel free to reach out. Thank you again for tuning in. Stay safe.
Thank you.
And stay tuned to New Jersey Living.